Hello there, this is Douglas Block on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. I guess it's noon. I guess it is the afternoon. It's, what a day is today? It's February 10th, 11th actually, isn't it? Yeah. It's my great nephew's birthday, Kellen, born on February 11, 2014. His father is Sam, who's my wife's sister's son. He's 36. Happy birthday, Kellen, and happy birthday to all you out there who might be having a birthday. Well, waiting for our first viewer to turn up. We are streaming. So far, no one's watching yet, but maybe we'll get some people in. I did want to talk about an amazing book I was just introduced to called Lost Connections. The real causes of depression and you know, how we can heal. It's by a guy named Johann, Johann Hari, H-A-R-I. I'm not quite sure what nationality that is, but he lives in the UK, Great Britain. He's a journalist. He's written a book on addictions, which was a big success. And he claims that a major cause of addiction in this culture, the reason it's so much of an epidemic, is because of the fact that our society is structured in such a way that it disconnects people from themselves, from their work. Nice to see you, Mr. B. Zom, Ilas, I'm fine. Tell me what country you're from. How's the sound, guys? Hope it's okay. And anyway, I was talking about this wonderful book called Lost Connections by Johann Hari, H-A-R-I. And I recommend you guys at least read about it on Amazon, get the Kindle version, get the book. Very provocative. And in my book, When Going Through Hell Don't Stop, which I will show you in just a second here. Here it is, When Going Through Hell Don't Stop. And I have a chapter called When Society Becomes Depressed. Sounds good? Okay, great. You guys ask some questions, but let me see if I can find this chapter for you. It's sort of down at the bottom. Okay, here we are. We're going to find it. Suicide and the allergy, social causes of depression. Yep. It's 232. The social causes of depression. I was writing about this very topic in 1998. And 20 years later, a book comes out saying that, yes, society has a lot of social causes. Here I write right here that our materialistic culture helps to foster depression. Not only do we lack living wisdom, tradition to guide modern society, but it's more and more difficult to achieve even ordinary worldly satisfactions. So, hey, OG, nice to see you. Better late than never. Hey, where's my friend Mark Calloway? He used to be a faithful viewer. I'm going to go ahead and text him right now if you guys don't mind. Okay, let's go to Mark Calloway, M-A-R-K. There he is right there. Mark, I am on live chat right now. Are you going to participate? And there we have it. Linda Stokes, yes. Hello from Alabama. I love you. I get in the mood to cook comfort food on great rainy days. Dave Patel from Vancouver, British Columbia. How are you, Dave? Is it as nice in Vancouver as it is in Portland right now? The sun is out. Sun's out the coast. I was supposed to go with my partner to the coast. I chickened out. I had work to do here. It was supposed to rain. And now I kind of somewhat regret it, although I got a lot of work done. But how is the weather? Jeff, of course. Where are you from again? Good afternoon. Jeff Dilaha, one of my favorite Patreon supporters. The same thing with Dave Piquel. OG, also another Patreon supporter. It is sunny too in Vancouver, British Columbia, says David. Wow. Cade, always great to see you. What are you from the UK again? I keep forgetting. I know Arcade Cups from Green Bay. You're from Michigan, like Julie Hayes. Have you guys connected? Of course, I have to go ahead and put my little Patreon pitch in here. We've had some stalling since the beginning of February. Maybe it's because the stock market is going down. People are not feeling very prosperous. Just go to patreon.com, put in my name, Douglas Block, and first person who becomes a patron of this channel today, I'll send them a free copy of When Going Through Hell Don't Stop, which talks about the social causes of depression. Sydney, Australia. I keep forgetting. So what is it? It's early there, isn't it? Isn't it 8 a.m. or something, Kate? One Claire Lou. Thank you very much. I think you're a patron also. Nice to see the old regulars coming. It's sunny and I'm in a cheerful mood because of the sun. I'm going to go on a walk with Joan, my partner, or we're going to go on a bike ride. Speaking of which, did anyone see Joan in my update on Bruce? Holding him. It was a really nice update, and Bruce is doing so much better now. Tyler Durden, nice to see you. Greg's group is very helpful, very supportive. Thank goodness. Greg, where are you? 8 a.m. on Monday. Well, I was right. Didn't I say 8 a.m.? I was right. The next day, 4 hours earlier. Well, you're up at the crack of dawn, not quite, Mr. B. 7 a.m. Good way to start the day. Okay, so it is 5 hours earlier in Australia. Okay, and Mr. B, where are you? What country are you in? Did anybody see the video I posted on Monday called "How to Be Happy for the Rest of Your Life"? I think that was the video I posted. It better be. I'm doing one on anger and depression this Monday, but we talk about how the genes only account for 50% of your happiness. 40% based on the choices you make, based on the lifestyle habits and how you think and how you behave. 11 inches of snow in Michigan. Well, Jeff, that's why I don't live in Madison, Wisconsin anymore. That's why I don't live in New York City. Have you been following the Olympics in South Korea? It's near zero there. You work for less than 3 hours and made $350. Well, Tyler Durden, tell us your secret. I could certainly use a couple of extra bucks. Kay says, hi, Dave. And 3 p.m. on Sunday in New York City. Of course, Mr. B, I know that. I grew up in New York City. I didn't know you were living in New York City. Well, so Lost Connections. Has anyone heard of that book? Well, time for some gum. God, I'm coughing early in the chat today. Only one more piece? My God. I may have to get up and get more. Uber Lyft, wow. Well, Tyler, here's the problem. My car is from 2001. I think you need like a 2013 car or 14 car. My car is too much of a old Honda. But good to keep in mind. Claire Lou, what was good? Linda Stokes. Peppermint oil for the cough? Okay. Do I just put it in my mouth? I can get, how about eucalyptus oil, Linda? I've got a ton of that. 10 years old or newer. Well, that's 2008. I'm going to send you some Fisherman's Friends. I'm not quite sure why that is, but looking for Claire Lou's comment earlier. Yeah, it was good. I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, Claire Lou, but yeah, gum helps a lot. And I do have eucalyptus oil, so that'll help too. So, has anybody heard of this book called Lost Connections? No one's answered me yet. It was released on January 23rd. It's the guy's all over the lecture circuit. Here, I'll type in his name for you. Oh, running is breathe deep. Well, maybe my wife Joan can get me the eucalyptus oil. Thank you. In the meantime, go check this guy out on YouTube. Will you please? That's the author, that's the name of the book. Maybe some of you can go to YouTube channel while we're talking. Mr. B. Deslin cough syrup works. You know, I only get a cough when I start talking. I have a tickle in my throat. I don't really have a cough. I don't have any congestion here. I just get this dry tickle in my throat. So do you think I need cough syrup for that? That's pretty powerful shit. Anyway. Oh. You're referring to the video, Claire Lou, the one on happiness? Thank you for that comment. Yes, what did you learn from it, Claire Lou? What I learned was that our genes are only partially responsible for our outlook on life. Anybody, even a long-term depressive like me, who has dysthymia, who's been in and out of psychiatry, meetings and out of therapy since I've been 18, That'll be 51 years as of February 22nd. By the way, my birthday is February 22nd. We're going to have a live chat on the 21st. I expect people to be faxing me all sorts of presents. Tyler Dern says, I'm thinking of watching a movie, The Bourne Supremacy. That's pretty intense. Or Jason Bourne, which one? I have no idea. I just know that Matt Damon's in both of them, and they're both spy movies, and they're very intense. So flip a coin. Anybody have any questions about mental health recovery? We're 11 minutes into the video. I guess I need to tell a joke, don't I? Why are dentists depressed? Did you know that there's more suicides in dentistry than any other profession? It's true. Well, the reason they're depressed is that they're always looking down in the mouth. Pretty bad, huh? I learned that I have some control over my condition, but diazepam works better. LOL. Yeah. Well, that's Valium, Claire Lou. You know, I'm glad you said that. A lot of people here who I see in my groups and privately are really afraid of Valium and Ativan and Klonopin, what are called, and Xanax, what are called the benzodiazepines. They're afraid they're going to get horribly addicted to them. Well, not if you use them every now and then in low doses. Claire Lou, how long have you been taking Valium? How many milligrams per day? I'd like to know. Yeah, no for cold flu, Mr. B. I don't need something for cold flu. Fortunately, I'm over that. I just have a tickle in my throat, and this gum seems to work. You love benzos. Well, they do relax you, don't they? Kind of like alcohol. They work on the same receptors, what are called the GABA receptors in the brain. So alcohol and benzos do the same thing. But you know what? So does deep breathing. So does exercise. I rode up to Rocky Butte yesterday for this first time in about 8 weeks. Boy, was that good. I was high the rest of the night, just getting those endorphins up in my brain. You know, running up, not running, cycling up the hill, getting my heartbeat to 150. Can't beat exercise. That's what I love even more than benzos. Where's Kevin McCourt? He's usually here, and some of the old UK people. Maybe they're watching the Olympics. Who knows what's going on? Dave Piquel, Douglas, you know why the issue of antidepressants has so much bias around it? What type of bias, Dave Piquel? You mean why people are against it? I'm not quite sure. Linda Stokes says, I take Effexor. I've been taking it for years. When I stop, I get into a dark place. Well, Effexor is a very effective antidepressant for some people. And so I'm glad it works for you. What can I do when I can't wake up in the middle of the night and can't get back to sleep, says Cade. Well, what I do is I lie on my side and start to go ahead and count from 100 backwards, 99, 98, 97. And I imagine sheep jumping over a little fence on a beach that I love in a place called Manzanita, Oregon. And there's a stream. Actually, they're not jumping over a fence. They're jumping over a stream that's coming out into the ocean. And so they're lining up and jumping out of a stream. And first there's 100 on this side. Then one jumps over. There's only 99 left and 98. By the time I get to 70, I'm back asleep. Deep breathing, counting sheep, and not letting yourself worry about the fact you're awake. If your mind starts to worry, just bring it back to the sheep. Just bring it back to the meditation. That's what I do. Mr. B, you just walked for an hour on the treadmill before the chat. Good for you. Cade, did that help? Something I also do, Cade, is when the counting backwards doesn't work, I take something called Ambien. You've heard of that, right? I'll spell it out right here. It's A-M-B-I-E-N. It's very closely related to Valium, but not the same thing. I have it prescribed from my nurse practitioner. It can be habit forming, but again, if you use it responsibly, it won't be. That puts me to sleep. That happens maybe once every other month. So you see, I'm not going to really get dependent on it. Yeah, sheep for sleep. I like that. There's a nice rhyme to it. Sheep for sleep. Anyway, so how does that seem, Cade? Ambien, counting sleep. If used sensibly, they can save your life. Some days I suffer. I take 1 or 5 or 10 milligrams. Actually, that's what Valium does. Now, Dave Piquel. Why is there a prejudice against antidepressants? I don't know. I know that they do have bad side effects. I know I did a video called A Deadly Side Effect of Antidepressants about akathisia. Some drugs will make you shake back and forth and jump up out of your seat and, horrible. So the way around it is to start in really small microdoses. I've had that happen twice, so I understand, but I think overall the positive outweighs the negative. I've only been working for 17, 18 years now in clinical work, as well as my own mental health for 50 years. So I think that antidepressants are helpful, but you know what? I think they're overprescribed, and I think people depend too much on them. That's what the book Lost Connection says, that we need to rely upon our social and spiritual and psychological resources. And that's why I have, this diagram in my book, Healing from Depression. A number of you have written me about it. Actually, I was supposed to send one to somebody. Damn, I forgot. It's this Body, Mind, Spirit Recovery Program. I need to actually have a copy of it to show people. Where the heck is it? Well, I'll find it in a minute. I think it's on page 151. There it is, 141. Here it is right here. You can see it there, kind of part of it. 5 areas of therapeutic self-care: physical self-care, mental emotional self-care, spiritual connection, social support, lifestyle habits. There's about 55 things here you can do besides take medication that will help your mood. So let's rely on those and not just on drugs. One clear to list is that a terrible reaction to Serotax 15 years ago. I felt totally spaced out, like I was on fire for 24 hours. I don't know what Serotax is. Can you explain that to me, One Clear Lou? Linda, I've taken Ambien before. It does work, but I got scared that the house would catch on fire and it wouldn't wake up No, the house is not going to catch on fire. That doesn't really happen, but if it did, Ambien does not knock you out that much, believe me. Let me see. Where's here, right here side? I'm gonna adjust the lighting just a little bit. Hold on there. My lighting guy, Jerry Gerard, doesn't like too much light on one side of my face. Well, it's still there. I'm not quite sure why. Well, what can I do? Serotax, I've never even heard of that as an antidepressant. One Claire Lou. Thank you for telling me about it. I've never known anyone who's taken it. Let's try one other thing. Let's try moving this away. A little better, don't you think? Now it's a little dark. Okay, one last time, and then we'll forget about it. This is what happens when you don't set up correctly at the beginning. I'm done. That's about the best. All right, so here we are. We're ready for your questions. Yes, Seroxat. I'll have to look that up. So getting back to this thing about happiness. What this woman from Harvard says is you have a set point for happiness. A set point is like a set point for weight. You may overeat one day and your scale will go up, but then the next day it will go back to where it started. It's like homeostasis. So you revolve around a certain weight. Some people are naturally light. Some people are naturally heavy. Don't you dislike the people who are naturally light? There are some people who are naturally happy also, and some people who are naturally pessimistic like Eeyore. But that temperament, that genetic factor only accounts for 50% of the level of your happiness. Now 10% is your circumstances, right? If you're living in a beautiful home in Beverly Hills, you're probably better off than if you're living on the streets of Rio de Janeiro. But it's only 10%. And once you actually get your basic needs met, you have a roof over your head, food in the cupboard, gas in the car, more money doesn't make more people happier. Over about, I don't know what it is, maybe $50,000, $60,000. From then on up, the level of happiness of people who are making a lot more money increases only very, very little. So as they say, the best things in life are not things. Doug, is the staff there? How many? Does he have a secretary? That's very funny, Dave Starkweather. No, it's just myself, me, myself, and I. OG, are traditional antipsychotic meds less sedating than atypical ones? I've tried 4 or 5 and I can't stand the side effects. Even resveratrol makes it hard to feel pleasure. I think the newer ones are supposed to have less side effects, OG, but what about Abilify in small doses? I've never heard people having too many side effects from that. So have you tried Abilify? That may have less sedating side effects. You should talk to your doctor. I'm sure there are some antipsychotics that are less sedating than others. So, and why are you on antipsychotics? Are you like bipolar or schizoaffective disorder, what's the condition that's leading you to have to take these things? Linda, Andrew Salmon had a really funny anecdote about a friend who took Ambien for a plane flight to Australia. He got really ready for the wedding at the hotel. Then he fell asleep again and missed the wedding. Oh, God. Well, he must have taken a lot of Ambien, I'll say that. Sorry about that. Where'd you hear that from Andrew Salmon? He's a really great speaker about depression. Oh, gee, doctor put me on Risperdal a long time ago. I felt nothing. Didn't even know I was taking it, so I didn't continue it. Well, David, you probably had not very high a dose of Risperdal, because usually 1-2 milligrams you will definitely feel. It's like a wet blanket over your head, as my godson tells me. So, yeah. So if you want to try it, just increase your dose. All right, schizoaffective and bipolar. That's what I thought. I've tried Abilify, but it's been a long time. I'd be willing to try it again. Yes, David. Yes, OG, you should. It helps a lot of people. Yes, Claire Loha, that would happen to me. Yes, you would go to sleep and miss the wedding if you're on Ambien. Well, take a half of it. It's 5 milligrams. I take 2.5. Score the half milligram in quarters and take 0.125 milligrams of Ambien. You can do it. Let's see any notifications here. Dum-de-dum. Nope. Oh, somebody wrote to me. Somebody wrote to me about suicidal thoughts. Well, there you have it. Very common. I did a video. It's coming up a week from Monday about how important suicide prevention is, and how serious it is in the culture, and how we don't have enough resources out there to really help people in depression. So thank goodness we have this and other channels. David Starkweather says, either that or I don't really need it. Well, you may not. What is your diagnosis, David Starkweather? Why are you taking Risperdal? Is it schizoaffective like OG? Just curious. Okay, so here's another joke by Joe Osteen, who's a minister. Where's Daniel Kate, by the way, when we need her, from Houston? And what about our other Pearlie Ibanda, our other gal from Oklahoma? Anyway, so, in these days, they're trying to improve school lunches, and they found that if you put certain foods at the beginning of the line, children are more likely to take those. And if you make them healthier, it's better, they're more likely to take them. So you take the healthy foods and put them at the beginning of the line, and the less healthy foods at the end. So it's a Catholic primary school, and these girls are, coming up to the beginning of the line. There's a bunch of apples, and there's a sign that says, from one of the nuns wrote, "Take only one apple, please. God is watching." Okay? Then you go to the end of the line, there's a big pile of cookies, and some kid wrote a sign that said, "Take as many cookies as you take as many cookies as you want, because God is watching the apples." Isn't that cute? He's watching the apples, he's not watching the cookies. Okay, one clear eye. I had to fly home next day too, poor guy. I heard it on YouTube, Andrew's video, Depression, the Secrets We Share. Yeah, I've seen that video. Maybe I just missed that anecdote. David Starkweather has just anxiety depression. Often Risperdal is given in combination with an antidepressant. I don't know if schizoaffective disorder. Well, David, if it doesn't work, forget it. Your primary diagnosis is depression and anxiety. Risperdal was a nice idea, but it's not the primary thing that's going to help you. What's going to help you is the lifestyle habits we talk about in Healing for Depression, and maybe some antidepressants like, Prozac, Zoloft, Celexa. A lot of my friends have had good luck with Celexa. 12:25, only 14 people watching. This is a slow Sunday. I have no idea what's going on. Oh, well, you guys get your own personal, attention here. So, oh, by the way, did any of you hear about this live chat from the announcements of my YouTube videos? At the very end, after the end scenes, I have a little announcement, and then at the very beginning, there's a banner that goes across after I've told my joke that says live chats, 12 noon Wednesday and Sunday. How did you find out about the live chats? Did you find it on one of my videos, or did I announce it? I'm just curious how that happened. Specifically, I should be announcing it more. Wow, that's a good idea. Linda Stokes says, do people with depression usually have anxiety, or is it the anxiety disorder that causes depression? I have dealt both since middle school, Linda. And how old are you now, I wonder? Anyway, it turns out that 80% of the time, 80% of the time, depression and anxiety are what are called co-occurring disorders or comorbid. They're together. And some people think they come from the same complex in the brain. So it's hard to know if the depression causes the anxiety. For me, when I have an episode of major depression come on, the anxiety pops up. When the depression gets treated, the anxiety goes away. So in my case, the depression causes the anxiety. But they are found together 80% of the time. They're co-occurring disorders. And so that's tough when one day you can't even get out of bed. The next day you're so agitated you can't sit still. David Starkweather says, and by the way, Linda Stokes, how are you treating your anxiety and depression? Are you the person taking Effexor? I'm not quite sure. I can't go far enough up the live chat to figure that out. So let me know what you're doing for it. Speaking of live chat, there's a super chat button, a little dollar sign at the bottom. Kate often gives $1. Anything you'd like to spare would be great. And so David Starkweather says, the Risperidone was a long time ago. I gave it up a long time ago, only mentioned it for feedback to what OG was saying, just offered it for whatever it's worth. Thank you, David. Again, if your primary diagnosis is anxiety and depression, you probably don't need the Risperidone. Yes, my subscriber base has increased a lot since live streams. I agree. We're getting about 620 new viewers a month, or what is that, about 20 a day? So yeah, I'm sure the live streams have been helping. I'm a little disappointed we only have 15 today on Sunday, but you know, you don't know what's going on. Maybe people are watching the Olympics. What is it, 8 o'clock in United Kingdom? Well, that's when they're on, prime time. But Mr. B, I haven't seen you before. Have you been on other live streams? And are you a subscriber? Right? If you go to my page, my YouTube page, and you click on the subscribe button, you'll subscribe. But if you click on the bell to the right of it, then you'll be notified when a new video is made. And of course, you know it's www.youtube.com. Whoops. So much for my typing skills. /user/HEALINGDEPRESS. Anyway, that's the YouTube page if you want to get to it and subscribe. Me too, Linda. I had it both ways. Anxiety is causing my depression at the moment. Yep, it goes both ways. So, you take Effexor and sometimes Buspar, says Linda Stokes. The Effexor is for the depression, the Buspar is for the anxiety. Unlike Klonopin and Valium, it's not addicting, it's not a benzo, and so you can take it and not worry about it being habit-forming. Linda, depression is cyclic, says David Starkweather. It is. Anxiety is about the future. Depression is about the past. They tend to cycle back and forth. You're absolutely right. When I had my agitated depression, 96, 97, I wrote in my book, When Going Through Hell Don't Stop, I felt as if my head were being batted back and forth by a ping pong ball. Anxiety, depression, depression, anxiety. One day I couldn't get out of bed, I was suicidal. The next day I was so agitated I couldn't sit still. High anxiety one day, high depression the next, both disabling, but the anxiety, at least, I wasn't thinking about ending it all. The depression was more dangerous. As the statistics go, you know, most people, 90% of the people, before they take their lives, were suffering from depression. William Brittington, I got your book, liking it very much. William, are you talking about this book here? Healing from Depression, 12 Weeks to a Better Mood? If so, talk it up. It's a good book. I wrote it, I put my whole guts into it. So I appreciate your thinking about it. What have you read the first part, which is my memoir, or have you read the second part, which is the Body, Mind, Spirit Republic, for which I stand, the Body, Mind, and Spirit Recovery Program. There we have it. Yes, sir. You're referring to, of course, the Healing from Depression. So what part have you read, the memoir or the how-to part? Plug it, William. Yes, of course. Many people have said it's the best book they've seen on depression. It hasn't gotten a lot of recognition, but neither did Van Gogh. He only sold one painting to his brother. LOL. do I do personal phone sessions for therapy? I have a 12-week course based on the 12 weeks in this book. We go over one week, one chapter, or 1 week every week, 12 sessions, $50 a session. A lot cheaper than therapy, don't you think? And, you know, I won't say I guarantee my results, but I'll say that everybody who's done this 12-week program with me has benefited greatly. So if you're interested, Mr. B, all you have to do is email me, douglasblock@gmail.com, and I will send you an application form. So there you have it. So did that answer your question? So I do a 12-week course on my book, Healing from Depression. William Bridgington, only page 64, whether you're still in the middle of my memoir. Pretty gruesome, isn't it? It does have a happy ending. I do come out of it. But I think the best use of this book is the second half, although the first half does give you an idea of what someone else is going through when they're going through hell. Very fair price. Well, you can put your email address right here, Mr. B, and I'll email you a link, or you can send me an email, douglasblock@gmail.com, and I'll send you a link where you can sign up for the 12-week program. It's quite worth it. It can complement regular therapy. It's a coaching program, Mr. B. It's not psychotherapy. So if you're seeing a therapist, you can continue to see your therapist, continue to take medication. This just complements whatever you're doing. William Bridgington, you looking for the rest of the book? Okay, well, why don't you give me your feedback once you read it? You know my email address, douglasblock@gmail.com. And there's a beautiful, beautiful red-headed bird sitting outside my window. I've seen the crocuses bloom on February 11th in Portland, Oregon, right? Mr. B, in case you didn't see it before, here's my email address. Pretty simple, my first and last name @gmail.com. So go ahead, N to F, maybe he can introduce some nudity in his videos. I don't really think so. David, wouldn't be appropriate, don't you think? And where is Enda? I don't even see her here. Or him here. So, shoot questions. I'm having a video upload on this Monday. Wow, 2 more birds out there. Amazing. It's called Is Depression Anger Turned Inwards, or How a Depressed Person Can Express Their Anger in a Healthy Way. Woody Allen has an old joke. I don't get angry, I just grow tumors. In other words, when you stuff your anger inside, it can have adverse effects on your health. It can also make you more depressed. So the idea of this video is get your anger out, express it, and don't stuff it, because when you stuff it, you feel worse. Of course, the opposite of stuffing it is to be overly aggressive and, to then lash out like some of our parents did, like my mother, not physically, but verbally. Dave Pickell says, Douglas, depression chat rooms are helping me deal with loneliness and isolation. About depression, there's a lot of sadness, but a sense of solidarity and support. Well, that's what's going on in these live chats. That's what goes on in my groups. And that's what goes on in Greg Sandler's support group. So yes. Mr. B says, okay, thank you. Just trying to build self-esteem, self-confidence and self-esteem. Just getting out of a depressive episode. Well, good for you. Because you know what goes down must come up. That's why I say in my book, when going through hell, don't stop. If you keep chugging along, if you keep reaching out for help, if you keep doing what you need to be doing, then you will get help. And from Ireland, nice to see you. I'm here interested in anyone's thoughts on Jordan Peterson. He's quite absorbing to listen to. And does he talk about depression? And F, why don't you tell me? I've never heard of him, but I bet he says some good things. A lot of people on the internet are quite good, don't you think? Especially this guy, Johan Hari. I want you to look at his book, Lost Connections. So maybe I'll look it up on my cell phone, or you can tell me, who is this person? What would you say ease of anxiety after drinking? That doesn't quite make sense, Chris Higgins. Are you saying drinking does ease anxiety? Yeah, it does for a lot of people, but then you can get a hangover, you can get dependent on it. Thank you, Mr. B. I appreciate your generous contribution. Very nice of you. your $5 contribution, even though Google takes 37% of it. Oh well. But nevertheless, the gesture is much appreciated. And Mr. B, you can, for $5 each month, you can become a supporter on my Patreon page, and Google won't take 37%. I don't know if you've ever visited the page, Mr. B, but if we do coaching, I can turn you on to it. So here it is. You click on this link, nothing's going to happen, but you can just go to patreon.com and put my name in, and that will do the same thing. If you want to be a sustaining member of this channel. But again, Mr. B, thank you for your generosity. I'm glad you're coming out of your depression now. There are two phases to healing from depression. The first is getting out of hell, and the second is staying out. So, Mr. B, you're emerging from hell. You're coming out of hell, but now you need to stay out. You need to be vigilant, because depression is a recurring relapsing disorder. So you need to keep up and keep doing the things that you know works: exercise, social support, prayer, meditation, diet, all the things I talk about in my book. Who's the person reading my book? I forgot. Anyway, keep up the good work. Don't slack. Do your self-care, Mr. B, and you should be fine. N to F, his area of psychology, he wandered into a row involving political correctness. A row, I'm sorry. We don't use the word row here in America, but in Toronto University at the moment. Okay, I'll check him out. I have a lot of respect for you, Enda, and if you recommend him, I'll check him out. Zoom Elas, I'm overwhelmed with my thoughts. I don't know what's happening. Well, if that's the case, seek out a psychologist, get help. You're probably dealing with a lot of obsessions. There's a medication called Luvox that can help. You need to keep a good diary too. Yes, I keep a mood diary every day about how my mood is going. So I'm not quite sure how you pronounce your first name. XORM. Is it Zorm? I guess it sounds like it. At any rate, yeah. Try Luvox, but most importantly, see a mental health professional and see if they can help you deal with what's going on. So, what about anger? Too aggressive, no good. Too passive, like my father, no good. Just right. It means being assertive. So what is being assertive? It means stating your needs and drawing your boundaries and being firm, but not blowing up. So if someone steps on your toes, you say, excuse me, that's my toes you're stepping on. Can you please take your foot off? You don't stand there and take the pain, but you don't punch the person in the nose. You let them know what's going on and you make a request, a nice, respectable request, and then hopefully they'll get off your toes. If not, then you can punch them, right? No, that never helps. Remember Martin Luther King Jr.? Those of you who are Americans, we just celebrated his birthday on January 15th. He desegregated the entire Montgomery, Alabama bus system through 370 days of a boycott, nonviolent boycott. That's what Gandhi did in liberating India from Great Britain. These are momentous heroes in humanity's history. Mr. B says, thank you. Though times are tough, you definitely deserve it. Didn't know Google takes 40%. Yeah, they do. Patreon next time. By the way, my name is Nick. Okay, do you prefer Nick or Nicholas, Mr. B? So Nick, yeah, please go to the Patreon. I haven't had a new subscriber in like weeks. I'd be tremendously gratified if you could click on there and make a small contribution. But yeah, Google, I mean, it's nice that Google, allows people to donate, but, as my friend said, they're not completely altruistic. They want to make a living too, and they definitely, when someone clicks on an advertisement in your video, they get 55% and the advertiser gets 45%. I don't know. The advertiser gets 45%, they get a cut. You get 5%, who knows, like a royalty on a book, not much. So they do very well for themselves on ads on the internet. But anyway, yes, definitely do Patreon. You can even, if you sign up now, you won't even be charged until March 1st. So you've got essentially 17 days before anything will happen. Anyway, Nick, keep up the good work, one day at a time. Use your recovery skills. And you can also contact me, douglasblock@gmail.com. If you want to do the coaching program, this is it right here. How to get a hold of me. Well, I think I hear Joan, my partner, stirring around. We were supposed to go to the coast last night. It was supposed to be rainy, and the weatherman tricked us. It was nice. It's nice here. We're going to go out and do something in the sun, so I'll probably be leaving you a little soon since it's pretty quiet. But we have another 5 minutes to go, so, you know, ask your questions, and hopefully we'll be able to answer them in a timely manner. Again, email address is www.healingfromdepression.com. Yeah, well, that's, of course, my website. I haven't even mentioned that. Yeah, just healingfromdepression.com, and all sorts of free resources on depression recovery. So, what else can we talk about? So in this book called Lost Connections, he tells a story about a housing project in Berlin, Germany, where there's all these poor people. Who's that man on the door? Oh. That is Ramana Maharshi, an Indian saint. Look at those eyes. Tell me if he's not, you know, he's got Shakti or beautiful spirituality coming out of them. He's a very famous man in India. He's like Jesus is in America. They have temples built to him, and he's a very cool guy. He's written some books. The Forever Freak, well, there you are, you know, less than 5 minutes in the video and you show up. It's been a while. I love your comments on my YouTube, and have you been in a live chat before, Forever Freak? Or maybe you have, but it's been a while. Nice to see you. What's up? How are you doing? Can I answer you a question before I sign off? Let me know what I can do. Anyway, so lost connections. So he says that this society has become more and more lonely. What do you think, guys? He said 20 years ago, people said that if they're really in a pinch, they had 5 friends they could really bare their souls to. Now it's just 0 or 1. Let's see if we can try a throat lozenge. Sorry about that, but this cough keeps coming on. I'll try the peppermint oil on my nose. So one clearly, what do you think? What do you think of Ramana Maharshi? Cool guy, huh? Very cool guy. Speaking of a nice image, Julie Hayes from Michigan said this to me. I always like to show it. From the ashes I rise. Remember, this is a metaphor for coming out of depression. What goes down must come up. Winter is followed by spring. Death is followed by rebirth. Remember the phoenix. You can and will get reborn. Kay says, I think loneliness is the leading cause of depression in society. I definitely think so. It has been for quite some time, and that's what Jonathan Hari says in his book, He agrees with you. My friend in Turkey is watching me. Who's your friend in Turkey, Dave Piquel? I've been reading the book about the Maharishi. It says David Starkweather, Maharishi Master Yogi. It's a very big shift in thinking. It's hard to grasp, but I guess it takes practice. Are you talking about meditation? Yeah, he was a big advocate of transcendental meditation, which the Beatles practiced, a very big figure in the 60s and the 70s. He sounds good. Do you ever watch Mooji on YouTube? One Claire Lou says to David Starkweather, I don't know who Mooji is, probably another guru. There's so many teachers out there. And Dave Piquel, how do you know somebody in Turkey? You know, they've cracked down on freedoms. I'll tell you, America has a lot of problems, but at least we have freedom of speech and expression here, not like other countries like Turkey and China. You know, I'm not trying to sound like a patriot, but we do have some wonderful things about this society. I think I have some water here, don't I? It's right here. Then I have to turn around. Okay, 5 more minutes. Any final questions, thoughts from the peanut gallery? Let me know. So just to let you get a hint, on Monday, this Monday, tomorrow, the 12th, I'm going to be uploading a video called How the Depressed Person Can Express His Anger in a Healthy Way. And on the 19th, a video about the importance of suicide prevention and how my videos are doing that, even if they don't get monetized by YouTube. So every Monday at 7 a.m., look for the videos. Douglas Barnes, well, you comment the very last second. The other Doug B from Madison. Sorry I missed the last couple of online chats. I didn't know there was one more. Oh, Doug B. Well, I used to live there. Been at a COA meeting 6 times a week. Well, they're wonderful. Adult children of alcoholics. Thank you for suggesting for that suggestion. I can tell this will help with the inner child aspect. Yes. Well, have you seen my video on inner child work? If you send me your email address, I'll send it to you. It was made 3 years ago. I did do a very popular video last year about how childhood trauma can cause depression and anxiety as an adult. You probably know that, but I have a video about parenting your inner child, and there's a doll, a little Dougie doll I show in it that you'd probably find very cute. Linda Stokes says, Jesus is my guru. David Starkweather says, there's a lot of teachers out there. They make it much more accessible to people who are suffering. It can be hard to follow when your thinking is clouded from depression. Absolutely. That's why you have to take care of the mood disorder before you can really benefit from spirituality. You can't jump into spirituality if you're depressed. Although having a spiritual worldview can make you less depressed, as I talk about in week 9 of my recovery program. Because if you believe there's something bigger than yourself, if you believe, as Albert Einstein says, that the universe is a friendly place, if you believe you have a higher purpose, that is going to set off certain chemicals in your brain that are going to give you hope and encouragement and calm you down. So yes, being spiritual can really help alleviate the symptoms of depression. And yes, there's a lot of teachers out there and a lot of paths. Mr. B, supplements are just a waste of money. Just eat healthy. Maybe omega-3s, that's right. Well, I had some salmon last night. Boy, did I feel a lot better. Speaking of which, you're having a salmon in New Seasons. I'm going to get some in the afternoon. Thank you for reminding me, David. And Brian W., Mr. Meditation, I call you. He's always coming on my YouTube giving comments about how meditation is helpful, and you walk your talk, Brian. I'm sure you do. And thank you for your one-time donation. So, yes, Jesus is the best guru, in my humble opinion. IMHO. You know, they have on the PBS NewsHour, they have a section called IMHO, in my humble opinion. So maybe you got it from there. How are you feeling today, Douglas? Pretty good. I got up at 6 o'clock, couldn't get back to bed, so I decided to work in the office. I've been working for 7 straight hours. I'm tired, but I'm going to take a 10-minute nap and go for a walk with Joan or go on my bike ride. The sun is out. The weather is absolutely outstanding after a horribly wet January. The first 11 days of February have seen nary a drop of rain. Yes, and thank you, Kate. You know, I got down last week. I have some money invested in the market. Nothing like financial stress to bring on depression. You know, if it's too much stress, you can go down. I'm always worried that, you know, the relapse is only, you know, a day away. But so far, I've been out of the hospital for 2 years. Got out on January 30th, 2016. I'm fairly well most of the time. Thank you for signing up for the Patreon midweek. I appreciate it, Mr. B. Again, if you have any questions, please, or Nick, I'll call you Nick, please email me at douglasblog@gmail.com. I'll look forward to it. If you have any questions, you know, let me know. You just have to create a username and email. And again, just go to www.patreon.com and just type in, you know, DOUGLA, Douglas Block Depression, and you will find me. All right. Forever Freak, transitioning into a new job. I'm nervous, but hopefully it will relieve me from stress and depression. I will try to tune more of your vids. The Phoenix is with us all. I love you, Forever Freak. Interesting name. It doesn't look like from your picture you grew up in the 60s. Wonder how you got that name. Were your parents freaks, or do you like Jerry Garcia, who was a freak? Wondered how you got that name. All right. Well, joy is possible. Even with depression, there are moments of joy. Even when I was at my darkest hour, 96, 97, there was a moment when I would see the sunrise, or I'd see the sunset, or oh, there's that same beautiful red-headed bird at my feet, or wow. Kind of a type of a finch, I've been told. Birds really like sunflower seeds. If you want to make them happy, put out sunflower seeds. Anyway, today there's what are called the Taizé chants, sacred chants, from the Christian tradition here in Portland. Joan and I go every now and then, so, whatever it takes to inspire you. Mr. B, in my humble opinion, I think market is topped, probably entering the fourth stage of a bull market. Google a chart of the fourth stage of bull market. This might be the blow-off phase, though I may be wrong. Well, no one really can predict the market, Mr. B, Nick, but we've had 9 years of a bull market. What goes up must come down, just like what comes down must come up. So I don't think we're going to have any 20 or 25 or 30% returns this year. I think the market's going to go, after it, lost 3,000 points and corrected 10%, I think it's going to kind of be level for the next year. I think interest rates rising are going to ruin that wonderful roaring 20s run we had. And sure, Yuki, and you just came on. I really don't like talking to people at my school. There's fights sometimes, and I'm scared of being a part of one. A lot of people messed up. I'm in 8th grade. Wow. Yeah, you probably should avoid fights. I agree with you, but not everybody in school gets in fights, right? Aren't there some people you can talk to who don't get into fights? And by the way, if you have some fear or anxiety, why don't you go there? Usually most schools have counselors, so hopefully you've got somebody you can talk to. That'd be a great thing, or ask your parents maybe to take you to see a counselor outside of school if you've got some anxiety. Nice of you to tune in. Is this your first time? Shoryuki N? God, it never amazes me how clever these YouTube names are. I have no idea what that means, what nationality you are, even what sex you are, but there we have it, anonymity. Can't beat it with a stick. So, again, happiness is possible, even if you're depressed. Check out my video called How to Be Happy for the Rest of Your Life. It was published on February 5th. It's still up there at the top of my videos. Watch it. You learn something from it about how you can manage your mood. Even if you're diagnosed with clinical depression, we have free will. There's something we can always do. Pearly Banda, you come on after 53 minutes and 34 seconds. Nice to hear from you, from Oklahoma. I hope you're still doing well. I hope your depersonalization is down. I hope you're coping well like you used to. And Shuriki N says, I'm not too, well, I guess your sentence was cut off. So, but how is it going, Pearly Banda? Have you been talking to Daniel Kate? You guys are just, a shot away, neighboring states. Maybe you guys can support each other. So it's coming up to 55 minutes after the hour. I think I'm going to leave a little early. My lack of sleep is catching up on me. I went to bed at 12:15, got up at 6. That's only 5 hours, 45 minutes. I normally sleep 10, 8. See, I can't even remember properly. I'm not upset about it. I like school a lot, and I hope it improves. I started making mobile gaming and YouTube videos. Gaming and YouTube helped me take it out of the stress. Okay. I don't know how you make mobile gaming, but I know a lot of people are into gaming, so hopefully that will help you, give you a nice break. I'm 22, but such an old soul. I do belong to the 60s and 70s era. What about your parents? They must be themselves, right? I may have to change my name on here. Haha. Why? What's wrong with the Forever Freak? If you belong to the 60s and 70s, you know. Have a great walk, Douglas. God bless. Well, God bless you, Brian. You're always positive. You're always saying good stuff. You're a real upper. And by the way, I know you've donated already, but if you know anybody who wants to subscribe to this channel and participate, just send them the Patreon link, www.patreon.com. Send it their way, okay? There it is, Brian. Just write down that link, and anybody you know who's a therapist or coming out of depression who wants to support videos like these and websites and newsletters. I do 4 things. I have my websites, I send out my newsletters, I do YouTube videos, and I also run 2 support groups here in Portland, Oregon, been going on since 2001. And I'm now having people fill out evaluation forms. People say it changed their life. I didn't do anything. It was the community. It was the connection. That's how Alcoholics Anonymous got started, when 2 drunks met one night and decided they could do for each other what neither one could do for themselves. That's the whole power of community. Anybody who's been in a 12-step program knows how important community is. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. I'll give you another about 40 seconds for anybody to make some final comments. After I go off the air, you guys can still essentially communicate with each other on this live chat screen for about 5 minutes. And I'm going to leave one other thing on here. I'm going to give you the email address of a guy named Greg who started a wonderful live chat support group for my viewers on YouTube, free of charge. A number of you have already told me you're in them and you really like them. So if you're interested in becoming a part of an online support group, simply email helloimgreg@gmail.com and get in touch with him. Tell him I sent you, and you can join his online support group. And again, get a hold of me. You can always email me at douglasblock@gmail.com. And of course, you can always go to healingfromdepression.com to see my website. And thank you very much, Forever Freak. You'll check out the email. You mean you're talking about Greg? Yeah, simply tell him that Douglas said you should go ahead and join his live chat group. Let us know what your YouTube channel is on makeup, Pearly Bond. We'd love to tune into it. And Forever Freak, if you want to, even for $2 a month, support this channel, just go to the Patreon link I wrote earlier. Look for my name, and you can do so. And Pearly Bonnet says, for makeup, I'm excited about it, but a little stressed. That's okay, because excitement and enthusiasm is the #1 cure of depression. If you have something you're enthusiastic about, that elicits certain chemicals in your brain that counteract depression. So of course you're stressed. You're starting this out. It's a new thing. You have, anxiety, like performance anxiety, but that's all right. That's normal. That shows you're at the edge and you're doing what you're supposed to do. So Pearly Ibanda, good luck. Get a hold of Danielle. I wish you luck on your new channel, and let me know about it as soon as it comes on the line. And for all of you, until we meet again, I wish you all the best in your mental health recovery. Thank you so much.